Friendly handshake, and let's see what the cards finally are. Looks like we did have a mandatory resleeve, so everybody rocking out those World Championship qualifiers.
Yep.
So it looks like Clifton has 2 copies of Bonfire, which isn't great. A Fiendsmith in Paradise, which isn't great. And Jeff here has Dormouse, which again, as I've mentioned basically every time I've seen Maliss in the feature match area, it is the most ideal opening play from the Maliss strategy. It is the one that plays around Nibiru the best. For those of you who have played the strategy, you know that White Rabbit gets kind of counteracted by Nibiru much, much more than opening up a Dormouse, because by doing it this way, Dormouse allowing you to kind of maintain the ability to special summon back out later on with Splash Mage allows you post Nibiru to establish pretty close to the same board you would naturally have. So I think we'll actually be able to see Jeff kind of navigate that perfectly, where the White Rabbit effect from the Banished Pile has been used. Now we have the Dormouse coming back with its own effect. We have the GWC 06 set.
And speaking of navigating through plays, Jeff did set before summoning his first Maliss, something we haven't seen all the Maliss players in the tournament do, but it's nice to see that that move still has a little bit life left in it.
So it's really important here that he's not using the Banish effect. Now granted, he's already used the Dormouse and White Rabbit, but just keeping this such that later on in the turn, if there is a Nibiru, he's able to banish it, bring it back, and then banish maybe potentially some of the Link monsters so that he can restock the board post Nibiru. But here he's activating TB11 right away. Now we're going to get a copy of Chessy Cat onto the field. You can tell that Jeff has a great understanding of this deck because of how fast he is playing. He already understands with Dormouse exactly what he wants to do. He's already mapped out. And I imagine, honestly, that if Clifton had a hand interaction, you wouldn't see any slowdown in Jeff's play.
New sleeves are a little slippery there, so Jeff managing to catch the deck in time, so nothing hit the board there. But looks like we are going to use Droll and Lockbird.
So one area, oh wow.
Oh wow. So it looks like we are going to see that hand. Here we go. Bonfire, Bonfire, Fiendsmith's Paradise, and Fiendsmith Engraver.
Look at Clifton like this, the Paradise you want to send back. No, it's the Engraver, Clifton, that he's going to be sending back.
I believe so. Although dependent, you could get rid of a Bonfire, maybe have an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring at the ready for the other one, but let's make the decision.
We'll just do Engraver.
Yeah, no, it's just Engraver. The double Bonfire, it's basically a double Talents because you can't activate 2 Bonfires, so you want to limit the amount of live cards. Fiendsmith the Paradise, not a live card. If there is an Ash Blossom, counteracts the Bonfire, and then you basically just double Talents him because he has 2 Bonfires. So,
crowd cheering for a strong start here for Maliss.
And just kind of other points, this could potentially shut Jeff out of being able to search a copy of Maliss in Underground. However, he now knows that there is no Nibiru in Clifton's hands. So some of those discussions I had earlier about how well Dormouse plays around Nibiru, another thing that plays around Nibiru is just to look at your opponent's hand. It does look like that Jeff has a couple copies of Metal Tronus in hand, and then it looks like a Fuwalos. So, you know, those Metal Tronuses could be pretty reasonable points of interaction. The Fuwalos obviously going first, not terribly ideal. We know he has the GWC 06 in the middle, and we don't yet know what that card is set closest to his main deck.
Could be anything up to an infinite permanence. Maybe it was a bluff spell in order to just get things going, but I guess we shall find out soon. Time for a little Link summon, though. It's going to be Splash Mage splashing in, bringing back the Chessy Cat.
And it could be MTP 07.
Didn't quite see it. All right, but we're going to go ahead and Link summon here.
Because I can't imagine it being Dominus Impulse. It is a card that you could theoretically set to do the bluff that we've commented on, but there is the possibility that a Bystial actually reaches Clifton's field. It's unlikely, but it's not 0%. And being able to activate Impulse from hand to stop a potential Nibiru would have been valuable. But with perfect information, it looks like Jeff here is going to go into Red Ransom. And of course, he is under the effect of Droll and Lockbird. So he's not going to be able to search out a copy of Maliss in Underground.
Certainly hurts the ability to extend this combo any further. Looks like we're going to set a Metal Tronus, maybe save one for next turn, and pass. So yeah, just confirming that's the GWC 06. Clifton going to go ahead and draw, takes a look at the card there, and adds it to his hand. And it looks like a Ryzeal monster. I think it's an Ice Ryzeal.
I think it's Node.
Oh, Node. Oh, Node.
So, Node's not the absolute worst. It really kind of depends on what Jeff has exactly. So he already knew that this was coming. This was already pre-planned. You weren't going to be able to stop both bonfires. So he knew that this was coming.
So here comes the Ash Ryzeal, normal summon to the field. Taking a quick look at the graveyard there. We're going to go ahead and activate Dominus
okay.
Impulse.
Touche. You know what? I'm never going to question Jeff.
Wow.
He is the master of
Friendly handshake, and it's time to duel.
So it looks like we have some Solemn Judgments. I know he has 3 copies in his side deck. Solemn Judgment, Infinite Impermanence.
Oh, there's the shifter check.
Looks like a shifter. No response. He's got a Lurry in hand. That's not great.
Oh,
Ash
that's
in hand.
not
That's
gonna
not
help.
great. What's that other card? Oh, and then a
Oh,
Perulia.
wow. Hey, well, you listed off all the cards. What's next?
I mean, Fualos is the last one. I mean, we're going to triple check. He has an Ash Blossom, so he actually has another point of interaction. And he's just going to set Infinite Impermanence, set the Solemn Judgment, and he's going to pass.
Hoping that he can negate 2 cards, if that's enough to slow down Maliss, but Maliss is very powerful here, so we'll see if they're able to play through it. Jeff goes ahead and adds a card. And in the draw phase, do we have anything?
I don't know. I mean, I think Clifton is just trying to make it seem like it's not the 2 cards that it actually is.
Perhaps.
I'll try to use effect.
And this is going to be met with a... Oh, it is Lancia.
Oh,
in his
and he
hand.
had the Lancia.
Okay, I actually thought it was a Ryzeal in his hand. So his hand is Lurry,
do you
Ash
want
Blossom, Lancia.
So we were just talking about the artifact Lancia too. I guess both of us cursed this duel with our future sights, but this is interesting now because now you can't banish cards, right? You wouldn't let me do my thing. I won't let you do yours.
Jeff actually drew the Fualo, so he actually has that 3rd card that I jokingly mentioned was the sort of turn 1 check, but now he has a Dormouse on the field.
Battle phase, attack.
Just going to attack, starting with an opening salvo of just a
You know,
few
it'd be
hundred
great?
life points.
Lingeribo here. This is actually a way that he could potentially get
Oh, wow.
his board cleared. So this is actually going to shut down a trap card. I don't think there's any reason why just out of the blue Clifton would activate Infinite Impermanence, but it is something that would eventually clear his field potentially.
And that would allow for the activation of the Mulch Army for Wallow, so it could come up, but only if somebody tries to negate that, maybe in a later turn.
So another Impermanence. So what we're going to see here is we're probably going to see this go
Normal
into sequence, but then this is going to be met with an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Requiem, sorry, not sequence. Requiem. Requiem will activate the effect. Unless he wants to attack over the Lingeribo. I don't know. Yeah, that's
it's only
not,
like 300
only
attack.
300. Yeah.
I'll try to activate Ash Blossom.
But we're activating Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to stop the Fiendsmith Requiem, just like you hinted at. So with only an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring in hand, he sets another card to the field. Maybe that Lingeribo is about to do work.
Standby phase.
I mean, it counteracts at least one of the Infinite Impermanence. The thing is, Jeff needs to find a way of forcing them out. Because this game is so simplified right now. Okay, here we have a Baldrake. That's something that actually plays around this.
Chain link 1.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and
look at
banish, and now we got our Malice banished one way or the other.
This is a way you just automatically get 2 monsters on the field. That Baldrake is just huge. In a potentially simplified game state, Clifton needs to be so careful how he uses that Solemn Judgment. And he's basically forced into activating an Infinite Impermanence here on the Dormouse. The Lingeribo is going to activate to negate it, and then a second Infinite Impermanence. That one Baldrake basically forced a double Infinite Impermanence, and now it forces Clifton to draw something to deal with that Dormouse, unless Jeff this turn wants to continue his plays, because Dormouse can activate every single main phase, unlike White Rabbit, that activates on the summon.
So 2 Infinite Impermanences down, 1 to go. I feel like you'd have to save that Infinite
a
normal
summon
summon.
of Fualos. Yeah, this is huge, because now we can use the Fualos and the Dormouse to threaten a link. And then at any point, that Baldrake can just continue to attack, and after 1 Solemn Judgment, he's going to be down just to 4,000.
This could be the end for our hero if you're cheering on Clifton.
I think Clifton's down to 71, so it would actually be
Oh, and he
know,
is going to Solemn Judgment there.
35-50.
35-50?
But he went into a link 3 as opposed to a link 2. So this is about as simple as we can possibly make it right now.
Just 1 card in hand for each duelist. Nothing on the field. Take a look at the graveyard.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here we go. Draw for turn.
He asks for Ice Ryzeal. He got a spell
Oh,
card.
and nothing. Draw for turn. Jeff takes a look at the graveyard.
Oh, it's
wow.
Truest Worm.
The crowd cheers, understanding what a huge opportunity this is as Bystial Druid's Worm banishes the Maliss Dormouse, who's going to pay 300 life points in order to special summon itself to the field.
And Clifton's wife is in the crowd. Look at this. Jeffrey's
Oh,
holding nothing
no.
back.
Not like this, but a duelist got to do what a duelist got to do, right? Gibbs said that earlier against his own teammate. And so now we're still in the Maliss White Rabbit. Go ahead and set a powerful trap card here, and we are getting close enough to game on battle damage alone.
Yeah, Clifton only has a spell card. I'm not sure exactly which one. Based on the way, unfortunately, these games have gone, it's probably something like Ryzeal Cross, which is just
And
not
there's the
a great draw.
handshake.